Hi and welcome to a brand new Riders Lounge podcast in collaboration with Night of the Jumps podcast as well. This will be a rider invite podcast to let you know who is in and actually who is out for the third round of competition at Night of the Jumps for the IFMXF World Tour coming up in less than 2 weeks now. In Zurich, Switzerland. It'll be round 3 on September the 7th. If you haven't got tickets yet to get to the show, if you're anywhere in Switzerland or Europe for that matter, make sure you are there at the Hallenstadion in Zurich, September 7. You can grab your tickets from nightofthejumps.com, and I'll have a few more places at the end of this podcast if you would like to be there. If you won't be there, of course, we'll be back with the live stream. We'll be on YouTube and Twitch once again, and you'll be able to find all of the wrap-up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and everywhere else after the event. But you don't want to wait until after. You want to see it as it happens, because that's where all the fun is. So as we come into this next round of competition, it's been a couple of months since the last round in Bremen. I'll talk about that in a few minutes, about what happened in Bremen after 2 rounds of competition, what the results are looking like so far on the overall leaderboard, and how things may play out, because there's a couple of riders out which will then probably change how the overall series will pan out. And for a couple of guys missing, this is going to hurt for their overall points strategy. Now, we're going to run through very quickly on who the riders are, and then we'll go into a little bit more depth. So who's in freestyle motocross? We've got Luc Ackermann, of course, Harry Bink, Matej Cesak, Marc Pinyol, Davide Rossi, Fini, Mikolej Tempka, and Pepa Aron. And in the BMX mountain bike and scooter competition, we've got best trick once again for those guys. We've got Leon Binckebanck, Lucas Huppert, the local Swiss rider, Maty, Pekarek, Peter Castka, Dan Miller, Nico Kroffig, Alejandro Bonafe, and Rabea Zahner. So those are the riders who we will see, or at least they're on the list right now. If nothing changes, we will see them in Zurich next Saturday night, September 7th. But as I mentioned, there are a couple of riders who will be out. One of them, one of the most important riders who is not able to make it, it is the 5-time world champion, Michael Malero. Unfortunately, he can't make this round and the next. So, unfortunately for Malero, I can't see a way for him to miss 2 rounds and still be in the running to try and take the world championship win at the end of the season. At the moment, the final round will be in Hanover in Germany at the end of November, but there may be other events coming along that could come online. We will just wait and see how those events unfold. There is also another rider missing. Unfortunately, he's our reserve rider, and he would have been the local Swiss guy, Nico Perrier. Nico has been working his backside off to get ready for his local round of competition. He's been our reserve rider for each round this year. And actually, he rode in Zurich last year as a reserve, doing the training. And I feel like it's been one of the best things that we could do is having an absolutely stress-free training session on the competition format, like with all the ramps as it would be if anything was to happen to the riders, if they don't make their flights, if suspension's missing, if something may happen during the training rounds. We do have one reserve rider, but generally, the reserve rider is not required. So that way we've got younger guys getting a taste of what it would feel like to ride on a Night of the Jumps course. So when the time does come and they step up to be an invited rider or join the series overall, they are so much more prepared. Because I can tell you, when I rode my first Night of the Jumps in Sofia, Bulgaria, 2014, while I had ridden a lot of competitions in Australia, New Zealand, and wherever, nothing prepared me for how fast and how tight these European arenas are. There is no time to stop and get your flip levers up or get your steering dampener ready. You're landing, braking so hard that you don't hit the wall, turning around and straight into the next jump. It is fast. It is hard. And we've seen a lot of Aussies and American riders struggle a little bit because we're normally used to those big open areas to ride, big courses. So I think it's a good thing to bring those guys through. But unfortunately, Nico Kroffig, he was working his backside off to get there, working on seat grab flips and whatever else, but unfortunately has broken his heel only a couple of weeks ago. So there will be a new reserve rider, and that name is to be confirmed very shortly. But unfortunately, the local Swiss rider, Nico Kroffig, will not be there. Now, the competition format has changed. We had Munich as the World Team Challenge, the Freestyle of Nations, where we had 3 teams of 3 riders, and that's what we've been doing at Night of the Jumps the last few years as we were coming out of those COVID times. We started in Munich with that format, and I'm very happy to say that we changed in Bremen to go back to solo competitions because that's what freestyle motocross really is about. The teams were awesome. Don't get me wrong. The teams were awesome. I'm actually sitting on Squibby's Resi, Jamie Squibb in England. That's where I'm recording this podcast right now. And Squibby spent a lot of time with us doing the Freestyle of Nations competitions. And it was a great way to bring the team element to FMX and BMX mountain bike and scooter, like to bring those guys in and have a different format, make it a little bit different for FMX, see what may work and what doesn't. But it is also cool to go back to the solo competitions, and that's exactly what we did in Bremen. We had 2 groups of 4. So the first half of the competition, you got 4 riders where the names are picked randomly by the 2 leading riders of the competition. In Bremen, that was Luc Ackermann and Michael Malero. This time, Luc is still leading the series so far with 2 wins overall out of 2 events, but Malero won't be there. So Marc Pinyol will be in the second group and choosing the other 3 riders randomly out of a hat who he will go up against. And that could change how the competition even works out throughout the night, because if Pinyol pulls out Harry Bink's name and Matej Cesak's name, he could be in for a lot of trouble. Hell, if he pulls out Davide Rossi's name and Leo Fini's name, he could be in a lot of trouble. And we know Mikolej Tempka works on the big ramps as well. Pepa Aron coming through. So this is not going to be easy when you've got 2 groups of 4 and the top 2 riders from each group will go through the qualification into the final for a top 4 final, where we will then run through again and see who will make it to the podium in Zurich this time around. So that is the format. 2 groups of 4. Top 2 qualifiers will go through, and a top 4 final will be how we do it in Zurich, and that will be how we do it for the rest of the season. We also have the BMX mountain bike and scooter riders going for their best trick competition. We give them a warm-up session at the start of the show. Halfway through, it is then the quali to see who will go through to their final, with I think it should be 3 riders in the final to see who will win that best trick competition. And in Bremen, it was an upset. It was Dan Miller from the Czech Republic, the man who builds the mountain bike jumps for us with the tower. He's got really nice, smooth ramps. Every rider so far has said how good they are, how nice they feel. And Dan was lucky enough to take that win, but this time with Leon Binckebanck on BMX, Luc at Huppert, the local, the Swiss rider, one of the best riders in the world on the MTB. He'll be looking for a win on his home turf. Maty Pekarek, the scooter rider, who has actually blown all of us away. That kid from Czech Republic has a lot of skill. And funnily enough, his driver, Maty Pekarek's too young to even drive. So his buddy, Peter Castka, drove him to the last two events. And in Bremen, we're like, oh, you know what? You can ride a scooter too. Why not try? And he's a damn good scooter rider. So Maty and his driver, Peter Castka, will be competing in the qualification to see who may go through to the final. Dan Miller, of course. Nico Kroffig, coming from Lyon in France, will make his debut for 2024 at Night of the Jumps. Alejandro Bonafe is back. He is definitely a favourite to win. One of my favourite riders, actually, to watch. That dude has got some really cool technical tricks, especially when he goes for that twister to bounce front flip. He landed one in training I think it was in Bremen, but unfortunately he couldn't land it in the competition. So that will be interesting to see. And Anna Rabea, the one female rider representing the girls, to let's see if she can get through to the best trick final. I do like watching those guys. As you can tell, I am an FMX guy, but I am getting so much more appreciation for what those three disciplines can throw down at Night of the Jumps, because it is becoming a bigger part of our entire show. They've got their own competition. It is best trick. And of course, we have to see who has the best trick, whether it's on BMX, mountain bike, or scooter. Doesn't matter what you're on. Heck, if one of those guys is good on all three, like Leon Binckebanck, I would imagine, that dude seems to be able to front flip anything. If he jumped on a mountain bike, if he jumped on a scooter, whatever, maybe he could take the win across all three disciplines. Let's see. With the freestyle motocross riders, though, to break down how I see this event happening, we've got Luc Ackermann right now, who is leading the competition. Actually, I'll look at the Bremen results, or the points standing from Bremen, and then we'll talk about this. So Luc Ackermann is leading after two competitions with 40 points. Michael Malero in second with 36 points, 2 seconds over the two events. And Marc Pinyol in third with 30 points. So with Malero not there, Pinyol is almost guaranteed to be in second position when all things are done. But it's not totally over, because Matej Cesak, sitting in fourth so far from the Czech Republic, is sitting on 24 points. So I would say we've got Matej and Pinyol. They are both looking to move up into second and third position on the overall. If Luc does what we know Luc can do, it could be another win. You never know. But we've got Harry Bink coming as well. But for Pinyol and Matej, they will probably move to second and third. But who stands in second and third, we'll find out in Zurich and then continue on throughout the season. I know Pinyol may not be able to make 1 or 2 rounds. So right now, he needs to be winning, or at least in second position, to get as many points as possible to see if he can finish the season out on the podium. And the same goes for Matej Cesak. In fifth, so far, after 2 rounds, it is Philip Podmol. But unfortunately, Philip has gone under the knife for a shoulder surgery. So Philip Podmol will not be with us, and that will definitely hurt his chances for the season. He may not even make it back by the end of the season. We will just see how he progresses. We hope that he can make it back. If you can hear a dirt bike in the background, that is Chris Birch. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There is a Kawasaki KX450 just revving down there. So as Birchie washes his bike after a solid couple of weeks of shows that I've been over here with Jamie Squibb and Chris Birch, we just finished our last show yesterday, and they're washing the bikes. I thought I'd sit up on the resi mat here. I thought I was in a safe spot, that I wouldn't get any noise from those guys, but of course, they're down there washing bikes, revving bikes. Of course, they're just going to try and wreck the podcast. Right, Mikolej Tempka is sitting in 6th position from Poland with 18 points, only 1 point behind Philip. So he gets to move on up this week, or next weekend coming up. Libor Podmol, he only rode one event, but he got a 3rd position. So he has 16 points. And we will see Libor back for Berlin and Hanover. So he's got 2 more events coming up at Night of the Jumps. Pepa Aron, also from the Czech Republic, 15 points in 8th so far. Yeah, I guess you guys can hear that. I will try and drown out those 450 sounds. Maybe I won't. It sounds good. Why not have a dirt bike in the background? Davide Rossi. Davide made an impromptu entrance into Munich, I think it was, the first event. He wasn't planned to be there, but he's already on the board with 14 points. He then has 3 more events with Night of the Jumps for this season, and he will be with us in Zurich with Leo Fini, who we haven't seen yet. So Davide Rossi already has 14 points in 9th, and Colby Gort in 10th position so far this season with only 1 event, and we hope to see Colby Gort make another appearance at Night of the Jumps. So with Harry Bink making his debut for the season in Zurich, he will be the wild card rider. What can Harry do to upset this championship, the overall championship leaderboard, where Luc Ackermann is leading? Harry and Luke, those 2 riders are animals. Both of those guys have big tricks on the next gen ramp. The next gen ramp will be in Zurich, and we will see what they'll do. I know Harry has the double flip. Actually, I think Harry even has a front flip. We know that Luc Ackermann has the front flip. He did that at X Games. And Luke has double flipped dirt to dirt before. We know that Luke has the skills to go double flipping off the next gen. Has he done it before in a competition? I don't know. That's an interesting one. So if we have the next gen there, Harry's there double flipping it, will Luke then step it up from the super kicker at 14.5 meters to the next gen ramp at, 75 foot? 23 meters, 22 meters, 21 and a half, whatever they decide. It's up to the riders, I think. I think it's 21 and a half. 21.5 meters. We'll have that next gen ramp in Zurich. So Harry Bink may be that wild card rider who completely disrupts the leaderboard, but he has to get through qualifying. He has to get to the final, and that could throw things into a big tailspin. Leo Fini is also another one of those wild card riders. That dude is one of the most stylish riders in the world. I would put him up with like the Adam Jones kind of style, where those tricks are just perfectly executed. Big tricks, heart attack flips. What else? I got Squibby walking along here. What other tricks has Leo got? I'm sitting here kind of talking away and I'm not really thinking. One hand, 1 foot can flip. Yeah, that's a trick that not many riders do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were looking at a video. That rock solid upright is massive. Almost like Fitzpatrick in the day, someone like that, where he's just... Was it Fitzpatrick? Todd Potter. Massive double heart into a rock solid. So Leo Fini's got all of the regular tricks upright, and backflip tricks are huge. And I know he's working on double grab flips as well. Bev, you're going to upset this little recording dealie I got here. If you press these buttons. So Leo Fini is another wildcard rider who can completely upset the apple cart for these riders. Now, I've got Squibby walking along here. We're probably going to have a couple of drinks later on, and I'm going to finish this podcast on that note. Is that what you've come for? No? Well, I'm trying to be professional because this is a Night of the Jumps podcast with Riders Lounge. Doesn't matter. Right, where are we going to get tickets for Night of the Jumps for Switzerland? Go to livenation.de, ticketmaster.ch, and ticketcorner.ch. You can grab the tickets for Night of the Jumps Zurich on September the 7th. We will have we'll have the live stream on YouTube and on Twitch. So if you go to the Night of the Jumps account on Twitch, there is no direct link to each live stream, it just comes up immediately. And for YouTube, we will have a link for that one very shortly. If you can't make Zurich, we'll be in Berlin for round 4 on the 5th of October in the Uber Arena. The 5th round will be Cologne, 26th of October. So we've got 2 events in October, Cologne, Germany in Lanxess Arena, and Hanover, Germany in the Zigzag Arena on the 9th of November. That will currently be the 6th and final round of the tour, but there may be more events. And if you're already looking for 2025 tickets, Munich has already been announced. We'll be back in the Olympiahalle on the 12th of April 2025. That's a German event, and Germans do like to be punctual and to be very organised. So if any Germans are listening, grab your tickets now for next year. You can find those tickets on livenation.de. And, of course, everything is on nightofthejumps.com. For all the news and everything else that comes out from this, we'll be on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But as I mentioned, the live stream is only on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you very much. We'll see you next weekend, September 7, Zurich. This is going to be a big one.